Folks, if there's one thing that I know, it's that Democrats couldn't sell ice water to a man dying of thirst in the desert. Why do I say that? Well, if you see this saying, people do not buy goods and services, they buy relations, stories, and magic. Absolutely true. The name of the game is public relations. Why do I say that? Because the Democrats have a bunch of good to great ideas. And they are really good at polling because they basically run polls that tell them what people think about their ideas. That's good. But they have an uncanny ability to be unable to sell their ideas to the voting public. Now, I'm going to use a specific example, or possibly two. The Affordable Care Act. When the Democrats pushed through this idea, and honestly, in my opinion, they should have shot Joe Lieberman because he was the one that threatened to withhold his vote if they did not remove the single pay option, which would have solved a whole lot of the problems with the Affordable Care Act. They saw the Republicans come out against it. And if there's one thing that the Republicans can do, they can pretty much sell the idea that they back as easily as they can sell ice to an Eskimo. And they can sell ice to Eskimos, by the way. When the Democrats, again, first came out with the Affordable Care Act, and the Republicans came out against it, and the polling first indicated that the Republicans were doing a superior job of selling their position, the Democrats should have instantaneously went out and got 2 or 3 top of the line public relation firms, told them what they wanted, which was to increase the voting public's perception of the Affordable Care Act at least 20 to 30 points. That's what they should have done. But they didn't do it. They did a piss poor job of telling America about the Affordable Care Act. They allowed themselves, or the act, I should say, to be labeled Obamacare. And President Obama allowed that name to go forward and even began using it himself. Now, for those of you who don't know anything about public relations, it's the job of public relations to obtain favorable opinion about a particular subject matter. Now, polling suggests that a lot of people have a poor perception of anything with the name Obama in it. And that's for a lot of different reasons. And I'm not going to go into all the reasons why the name Obama basically has a negative connotation, even though the person Obama has a pretty high approval rating. Once the Democrats saw how poorly the name Obamacare polled, it was their job to no longer use the name Obamacare, but to use the actual name of the bill, the Affordable Care Act, which polling shows has a higher approval number than the name Obamacare. Now, there are a lot of people who benefit from the Affordable Care Act, and they are pissed off about the Affordable Care Act being repealed. But if you ask them the same question about Obamacare being repealed, you have at least 10 to 20% more people that don't have a problem with the repeal of Obamacare. Now, I'm going to point out one particular chart that the Democrats should have pushed themselves or even through a public relation firm when they came out with the announcement that premiums for now it's this year, were going up. Here's the chart. Okay, this is a chart for the premium increase, and it also shows the subsidy increase. That's the additional tax credits or monies that are given to people on average that are utilizing the Affordable Care Act. Now, as you can see, in the blue is the premium increase. In the red is the subsidy increase. Republicans have jumped up and down about the increase in premiums in the state of Arizona, which is the column that is on the extreme left. And as you can see, that premiums in Arizona are going up reportedly an average of 120%. But if you notice, the subsidy increase is going up approximately 140%. Translation, even though your premiums are going up, not only are we going to match the increase in the subsidy, we are going to give you even more money towards covering the premium. That is true in Arizona, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Minnesota, Alabama, Pennsylvania, Nebraska, Montana, Illinois, Kansas, North Carolina, South Dakota, Hawaii, West Virginia, and Alaska. And the premium increase is not just a token amount as in the state of Arizona. It's a large amount, as it is in the other states that I mentioned. But the subsidy increase is, in some cases, almost double the amount of the premium increase. In my opinion, that's a hell of a good thing and should have been promoted up the gazoo when premium increases were brought up. So again, as soon as the announcement on the premium increases was made, at the same exact time, the increases in the subsidies should have been brought up and pushed. But did the Democrats think about that? Oh no. No mention of the increase in the subsidies. So of course people are going to be all pissed off when they saw all of these, huge, in some cases, premium increases, which would have generated a lot of, obviously, negative feeling towards the Affordable Care Act. But if you told someone, yeah, we're going to have to bill you an extra $20 a month, or $200 or $400 or $500 a year. Let's use $500 a year for your health insurance. But guess what? We're going to give you $750 more a year. So the net effect is that you're going to be paying even less. I think people might have been a little happier about that. Now again, this does not happen in 100% of the cases, but on average, more people are getting increases in the subsidies than not. So again, just another example of the lack of good public relations, telling your story so that people absolutely understand what's going on, rather than letting someone else define your story and who you are. It may be too late. It probably is absolutely too late to do anything as far as Congress and their ability to repeal Obamacare. But if the proper action had been done early on by the Democrats in hiring professional public relation firms in order to get their message out, I think the story would be quite a bit different.